My dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to start a new chapter, that is production cost and revenue. Today my discussion topic is factors of production. So let us know first, what do you understand by production? Then we'll go to factors of production. Production means creating new utility by changing the shape and condition of resources by means of using human intelligence and technology. So actually, human cannot make anything by themselves without the help of natural resources. So what human can do, they can change the shape and form and color and form of resources by their intelligence and technology and create new kind of utility that meet the demand of human being. So this is the production. That means production means what? Creating new utility by changing the shape and condition of natural resources by means of using human intelligence and technology. So let us see an example here. Here we see that trees, these are natural resources, and from trees we get wood, and this wood is uh, transferred to factory, and this farm is producing furniture by using this wood. That means by changing the shape of the or form, changing the form of the wood, a new utility is made, that is furniture. So we can sit on sofa, we can take our meal on table. In this way, we can get a new utility from furniture. So in this way, people this is the main thing of production in economics. So what are the factors of production? For producing anything, factors or input are needed. So factors of production are inputs which are required for the generation of goods and services, classified into four major types. What are those? They are land, labor, capital, organization. So there are many kinds of inputs or factors of production, but in general, all factors of production can be classified into these main four types, that are land, labor, capital, organization. Now let us know one by one what is meant by this land, labor, capital, organization in economics. Land means actually in economics not only land on which crops are grown. Actually in economics all natural gifts that are produced in production work are called land. Example, land, trees, hill, water, sunlight, etc., which are used in production work, that all are considered as land in economics. Here you see this is a picture of Kaptai, uh, that is hydroelectric power project, that is electricity is generated from water. So this Kaptai lake, this water, these are considered as land in economics, as these are used in generating electricity, and this is and in this way uh, human being is served by this electricity. So this is a production work, that is where land is used in this way. Now let us let us know the features of land one by one. Land is a gift of nature. Example, water, the gift of nature are like trees, sunlight, air, water of ocean, hill, etc. And number two, supply of land is limited or perfectly inelastic. As this is a gift of nature, human being cannot make these resources, so that the supply of land is limited or perfectly inelastic. Then number three, Land is not movable factor, but ownership of land is transferable. Okay, so owner, who is the owner of these resources, they can easily sell it or buy it. In this way, ownership can be transferred. Number 4, law of diminishing marginal production is seen in land, especially in agricultural sector. So in agricultural sector, we know that crops are grown on land. So what we see, uh, in a piece of land, if we provide more labor or capital, then we see gradually in the first level of production increases, but when production increases more further, in that case, the production gradually decreases. So first increase, then decrease. So this is called law of diminishing marginal production that is seen in especially agricultural sector. So this is one feature of land. Here it is law. It is said law because some laws we will learn in chapter 3, and one law is law of diminishing marginal production. So this is mentioned here. Number 5, land is an inactive factor of production. That means land is not active by itself. People can make it use. So land is an inactive factor of production. Then land is a permanent factor. Okay. That means it does not exhaust. Land is a permanent factor. It has no production cost. As human being is not producing this, it is nature, gift of nature. That's why it says it has no production cost. There is difference in importance of land according to its positional value or position status. That means where the land is situated, importance of that area make the importance of that land also. Suppose if a land is in the commercial area, then the value of that land will be higher than the land which is situated in outskirt or in the that is countryside. So there is difference in importance of land according to its positional status. Now let us see what do you understand by labor. In economics, what is labor? The physical and mental effort of human being that are used in production are called labor. That means not only physical labor is only labor in economics, mental effort that is used in production work, that is also labor in economics. So that mason's work is labor as well as architect, teacher, doctor, engineer, etc. They are also labor. They are also considered labor uh, in sense of economic view because they are giving mental effort in producing something. So that's why here from the picture you see there are many kinds of uh, many professions persons picture are here, and so that we see these they all are producing something in economy, so they all are called labor in economics. Suppose fireman, a nurse, doctor, policeman, these all are, this is a COVID situations picture, that's why all are wearing mask here. So this is these are labor that who are giving their physical effort or mental effort in producing something, they are called labor in economics. So let us see some features on this. Number 1, labor is a life factor of production. As long as labor has life, labor exists. Okay, that's why labor is a life factor. That means it can work by itself. Labor can work by itself. It doesn't need anyone else to make them work. Number 2, labor cannot be saved, so it is a temporary factor. Number 3, labor and laborers are inseparable. Labor has to attend the workplace to serve. So we cannot separate laborers and labor. Labor exists within laborers. So labor has to attend the workplace to serve. Number 4, entrepreneur, sorry, there is a spelling mistake. Entrepreneur buys labor, not laborers. That means entrepreneurs, they can only buy, an entrepreneur can pay wage to buy labor, but entrepreneur does not buy laborer. That means entrepreneur cannot buy the person. Entrepreneur can only buy the labor of that person. Okay, so that laborers human right must be maintained in her work, in his or her workplace. Number 5, in labor intensive country, laborer has less bargaining power with his employer. So labor intensive country means the country which is highly populated, so that laborers have less bargaining power in keeping all their interest with their employers, because employers have many substitute, a big supply of laborers, so that employer can get substitute. If one labor goes, it is easy for employer to find substitute labor, and so that in labor intensive country, laborer has less bargaining power with his employer. Then number 6, labor is a factor of production as well as consumers also. This is an interesting thing. Labor work is factors of production in any production work, but the thing that is produced, again, labor is consumer of that work, of that product. Number 7, there is there is another spelling mistake. There is opposite or direct relation between wage and supply of labor. Then number 7, there is direct relation between wage and supply of labor. That means the more the wage, the more the supply of labor in that, um, the more the wage, the more the supply of labor uh, in the work for that firm. Okay, that means same work, for the same work, if one firm is paying more than another firm, then the more pair firm will get more supply of labor. So that there is direct relation between wage and supply of labor. The more the wage, the more the supply of labor. Number 8, supply of labor is related to time factor. That means if the skill of labor is higher, then the more time is needed to get the supply of that labor. But if the labor is unskilled, then there is less time needed to get the supply of labor according to demand. Because the more the skill, the more time is needed to acquire or to achieve that qualities or that experiences or that training. Okay, so supply of labor is related to time factor. Now let us know what is capital. Capital is not natural resources. Capital is man-made resources which are used for further production is called capital. So the resources which are made by human being, it is already made, but again it will be used for further production, that is called capital. Like we can say that machineries, factory building, office building, computer, vehicles, these all are capital. Like in the picture, there's you see a garments factory, and they are all employees or laborers. They are using that is sewing machines. These sewing machines are used in production work, and we can say this is capital, because these sewing machines is already made by human being. It is already produced. These sewing machines are already produced. That's why capital is called produced factor of production. Capital is a factor of production and it is produced factor of production as it is already produced by human being, and these are used for further production. See in the picture, this sewing machine, it is already a ready thing, but it is used for further production by the laborers. They are sewing clothes. So let us see the features of capital. Number one, capital is produced means of production. Just sometimes ago what I told, that is already produced, and this is kind of means of production. Number two, it is man-made factor. Number three, capital has elastic supply. Okay, capital has elastic supply. That means if price is higher, then more supply of capital will be there. That's why the supply is elastic. It is durable but not permanent factor. That means capital can last long, but it is not that much permanent factor. It has easy mobility. So capital can uh, it can be shifted easily from one place to another. Capital has derived demand. That means the demand of capital is depending on the demand of the production, demand of the product. If any commodities demand is high, then to produce that commodity, the demand for capital also increases. That's why it is called capital has derived demand. And that means the demand of capital is derived from other thing. What are the other thing? The product what capital produces. Suppose if the garments product demand is higher, then sewing machines demand will also be higher. That means the demand of capital has been derived from the demand of the garment product. Number 7, sorry, capital is the result of savings which formed by sacrificing present consumption that is invested. So capital is the result of savings. That means what savings? If people do not save, then that can be used in consumption. But people sacrifice their present consumption, they save the money, and then it is invested for capital. So capital is the result of savings. Number 8, the main objective of capital is to generate income for future. We know the what is capital goods? Capital goods are factory, office building, machineries, vehicles. So these all are used for further production work. That's why capital goods generate income for future. So this is the main objective for producing capital goods. Now let us see what is organization. When you say organization, then we will understand about the organizer or entrepreneur. Because organizer and entrepreneurs can only establish an organization. Organization brings together all other factors of production like land, labor, capitals that sometimes we discussed. So organizer brings together all other factors of production to run the business, carry on production according to plan, and take all kinds of risk associated with business. So you see, entrepreneurs, sorry, entrepreneurs has a big role. Entrepreneur brings together all other factors of production, run the business according to plan, carry on production. That means according to plan, it materialize its views and plan and take all kinds of risk associated with business. All kinds of risk means suppose in the business, the entrepreneur uh, can make profit, can succeed or lose. So these risk organizer has to bear, and so that organizer uh, should have many kinds of qualities. So there's a picture you see. there are the various qualities of organizer actually are depicted from this picture. Suppose organizer should have very organizer should have a very good uh, foresight power, so that organizer can understand uh, what will what change will come in the market, and to uh, according to that organizer has to make plan. So living in the present, organizer has to see the organizer has to understand what will happen in future, and according to that organizer has to make plan. And if uh, his this site is proper, then only he can get the success in business, otherwise he can make loss. And also organizer has to manage the finance. Organizer has to manage the finance. Organizer has to understand the organizer has to manage the human resource also. Okay, human resource, finance. He must have foresight power. So, and he must be very much punctual. So many kinds of qualities organizer should have. So let us see the features of organizer. Organizer or entrepreneur is a special type of labor. So sometimes it comes in the MCQ that who is the special type of labor? The answer should be the organizer or entrepreneur is a special type of labor. It is considered as life factor of production. So organizer or entrepreneur is a human being. He is also a special type of labor. So he is considered as life factor of production. And organizer takes all kinds of risk of business. Whatever risk uh, comes, he has to confront it with courage. Then organizer has some goals and objectives. So according to the goals and objectives, organizer make plan and try to materialize it. Number 5, organizer manages or bring together all other factors of production to use according to plan. Sorry. So organizer must have very good management capability. So, and that's why actually organization is called the that is uh, pilot of the production ship. Now let us see payment of factors of production. When any producer starts any production work, then it has to employ land, labor, capital. So he has to pay these factors of production, land, labor, and capital. So as a payment, land get rent, laborer get wage for serving his labor. Laborer get wage for his uh, for whatever he serves, mental or physical effort, and for that and against that he get wage. Then capital, the payment of capital is interest, because that machineries, vehicles, factory building, office building, everything is a matter of big or huge finance. So this has to be loan has to be taken. For this, loan has to be taken from the bank, and so that that loan has to be repaid with interest to bank. That's why the payment of capital is interest. Then after giving all this payment, that is rent, wage, and interest, to all factors of production, whatever is left from the revenue, then the producer subtract his production cost from that revenue, and whatever is left, that is profit for the organization or profit for the organizer to take all kinds of risk of the business. So today my discussion was up to these factors of production. So today is up to this. Thank you very much. Hope this video will help you to understand well. So see you in the next video. Thank you very much.